The new Bose noise cancelling headphones 700, aka the NC 700s, are finally here. Now, even though there is a lot of hype behind these headphones, they aren't outright replacing the Bose QC35s. Instead, they're more of a higher end tier variant, kind of like how there's the iPhone XR and the iPhone XS, the Mercedes E-Class and the Mercedes S-Class, or like how there's your standard 3D movie ticket, and then there's IMAX 3D. Now, overall, these are a decent pair of ANC headphones, but there are a few things I would have done differently. Now, for starters, the new Bose NC 700s are retailing for $400, which is $50 more than the Bose QC35s and the majority of the competition. And just knowing Bose, I doubt these headphones will be going on sale anytime soon. But if you want to pick any of the headphones up mentioned in this video, they'll be linked down below. Now first, let's talk about these headphones' design, because it's proven to be rather polarizing. Personally, I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. From a material standpoint, you've got this mostly exposed stainless steel headband with silicone on the top and underside of the headband, and the leatherette on the ear pads feel just as great as the leatherette on the Bose QC35s. These headphones definitely feel premium, but not as durable as their counterparts, the Bose QC35s. But from a port standpoint, thankfully the NC 700s have been upgraded to USB-C charging. But unfortunately, these headphones are still using a 2.5mm audio jack, and it also doesn't help that Bose decided to throw in a super cheap audio cable with their $400 headphones. And personally, I do think this is a big deal, especially if you're a content creator or if you plan on using these headphones a lot on flights. Now, overall, looks are subjective, but the main reason I'm not the biggest fan of these new headphones' design is because their headband isn't all that low profile. These headphones actually have more of a rounding effect than the Bose QC35s. But objectively, I'm also not a fan of this design because these headphones can only be laid down flat, which means the carrying case that comes included with these headphones is pretty big. Now, it's not as big as the Surface headphones, but it is slightly bigger than the Bose QC35s or the Sony 1000 XM3's carrying cases. But I do want to point out that this carrying case does have a cool little storage compartment to store your cables. But still, if I'm looking for a pair of ANC headphones to mostly travel or commute with, I want their carrying case to be as small as possible so I can cram them in more easily into my already overstuffed bag. But when it comes to fit, unfortunately, the Bose NC 700s just aren't as comfortable as the Bose QC35s. The NC 700s still have those super spacious ear cups just like on the QC35s, but unfortunately, the headband on the NC 700s does have more clamping force than the QC35s. Now personally, I can wear these headphones for hours on end, but I do have to constantly readjust them every 20 minutes or so. You just don't forget they're there like the Bose QC35s. So to be on the safe side, I gotta say the Bose NC 700s are not big head approved. And just so that you can get an idea of how these headphones rank comfort-wise for me, I gotta say a solid first place goes to the Bose QC35s, there's no denying that. Closely followed by the Sony XP900N, mainly because of their redesigned earpads. Then there's the Sony 1000 XM3s. The Bose NC 700s come in 4th place, mainly because of the clamping force. And then there's the Surface headphones. But now let's talk about tech specs and features. When it comes to battery life, the NC 700s have an advertised battery life of 20 hours, just like the QC35s. Now, even though a 20-hour battery life is nothing to scoff at, most ANC headphones these days are aiming for a 30+ hour battery life. But at least the fast charging on the NC 700s has been improved from the QC35s, because a 15-minute charge from a dead battery is going to get you 3.5 hours of playback time, 1 hour more than the QC35s. Now, when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, thankfully, these headphones can still be connected to 2 devices at the same time, which means you can easily hot swap from one device to another. Now, this is a big deal because simultaneous multi-device connectivity still isn't standard on all headphones. The NC700s are also great for watching videos on your phone because they have zero latency across the board, whether you're using an Apple or Android device. But unfortunately for my Android users, these headphones don't have any aptX support, just AAC. Now, ultimately, this isn't a huge deal, but I did want to point it out because it is a little odd to not see aptX support on a pair of $400 headphones. I also want to quickly address Bose AR. Long story short, as of summer 2019, Bose AR is still very much in its infancy. It's one of those features that you'll maybe play around with for 20 minutes and then forget it's even there. But if you do want to see Bose AR in action, you can click or tap right here. But I also do want to point out that Bose AR still isn't available for Android users. But honestly, you don't got to worry about any FOMO, because honestly, you're not missing out on much. Now, just to be clear, I'm not dismissing Bose AR, I'm just saying you gotta give it some time to mature. But now, let's talk about the active noise cancellation on the NC700s. Overall, it is slightly better than the active noise cancellation on the Bose QC35s. For starters, the Bose NC700s do a better job of rejecting wind noise than the QC35s when used outdoors. And like I've mentioned in the past, one of my biggest issues with the Bose QC35s is that their ANC has a lot of cabin pressure. Now, I know this may not be the case for everyone, but it is the case for me and a good chunk of other people. Even though the NC700s does still have some cabin pressure, it's definitely much more manageable. And performance-wise, the ANC on the NC700s is also a touch better than the QC35s. But so you can hear for yourself, we're going to jump into an ANC test. Like you may have just heard, the ANC on both of these headphones performs relatively the same. But if you listen closely, the NC700s do manage to block out slightly more road noise than the QC35s, and they do manage to block out slightly more chatter as well. But for all intents and purposes, the major differentiating factor between the ANC on both of these headphones is the reduction of the cabin pressure on the Bose NC700s. But one of the biggest new features on the NC700s, which has been sorely lacking on the Bose QC35s, is the addition of an ambient mode. Now, an ambient mode has been pretty standard on most premium and mid-range ANC headphones now, so it's great to see Bose finally catch up. Now, through Bose's app, you can go in and select how much ambient sound you would like to let in. And having an ambient mode on your headphones is great because this way you can still be aware of your surroundings when you're walking around the city, when you're commuting to or from work, and for the most part, the ambient mode on the NC700s has been properly implemented in the sense that it sounds natural and there isn't any hissing going on in the background, which is something you don't want to hear if you're watching a movie with these headphones with their ambient mode turned on at home like I do. But unfortunately, the ambient mode on these headphones pump in everything. They don't actively block out random loud noises like the Sony 1000 XM3s. Now, this small but very important detail means that if your dog starts barking while you're wearing these headphones at home, or if a siren passes by when you're walking outside, you're gonna hear all of those loud noises through your headphones. And just so that you can see what I'm talking about, here's what I call the clap test. So yeah, even though I'm very glad the Bose NC700s have an ambient mode, I do wish it was smart enough to watch out for those random loud noises. But who knows, maybe they can fix that through a software update. But I'm also glad to see that these headphones now have a dedicated ANC button, which you can use to manually toggle between your ANC settings. Through Bose's app, you can select 3 presets, and you can just quickly cycle between them depending on your current situation. And also, if you press and hold the ANC button on these headphones, you'll activate conversation mode, where the headphones will pause your music and pump in all of the ambient sound around you, so you can quickly talk to someone without having to take your headphones off, like this. And then if you press on the ANC button again, or press on the touchpad, the headphones will go back to their initial ANC settings and start playing your music again. And personally, I like Bose's conversation mode because you don't have to keep pressing down on the ANC button. You just activate it and then you're hands-free. But on the other ear cup, there is a dedicated voice assistant button. Now, the Bose QC35 Series 2 were the first ANC headphones with Google Assistant integration. But if you wanted to have Google Assistant on your headphones, you would have to choose between being able to manually toggle between your ANC settings or having your voice assistant integration. But thankfully, that's not the case with the Bose NC700s. And these days, you can choose between which voice assistant you would like to use on your headphones. Personally, I prefer Google Assistant, and it works a little like this.
It's 2:30 p.m. You don't have new notifications right now.
What is the current price of Bitcoin? And turn on the studio lights.
1 Bitcoin is approximately $10,597.90.
But now let's talk about how these headphones sound. For starters, the Bose NC700s sound pretty much the same as the Bose QC35s, which means if you love or hate how the Bose QC35s sound, then the same is going to go for the NC700s. Now, the NC700s aim for a clear and neutral sound signature. Vocalists are very prominent on these headphones, and even though the bass does resonate quite a bit on both of these headphones, it's not really going to thump your head, which means you're not really going to be able to feel your music. And just like before, you still can't adjust the EQ on these headphones through Bose's app. Overall, these are good sounding headphones, but they're aimed to please people who prefer a neutral sound signature. But I do want to point out that the NC700s perform better than the QC35s when ANC is turned on. When the ANC on the QC35s is turned on, the soundstage is narrowed a little bit and the bass is slightly reduced as well. So if you want to get the best sound quality out of the QC35s, you should use them with their ANC turned off. Whereas the NC700s sound pretty much identical with ANC turned on or off, which is actually a great thing to see. But besides the NC700's rather polarizing design, another controversial decision Bose has made is adding a touchpad to their new headphones. Now, the touch-sensitive surface on these headphones is located in this half circle, and after a few days of using these headphones, I've gotten used to using this very small touchpad. Overall, it is rather accurate and easy to use. Double tap to play or pause, swipe front or back to skip through your music, and you swipe up or down to adjust the volume. The only thing that I don't like about this touchpad is that you have to do a swipe for every step in volume you want to go up or down. You just can't press and hold to change your volume quickly. Overall, this is a small nitpick, but after a few days you do get used to this touchpad. But I know some people just prefer physical buttons, and I don't blame you. But at the very least, the touchpad on the NC700s isn't terrible. Well, finally, let's talk about the microphones on these headphones. For starters, the Bose QC35 has always had one of the best microphones for phone calls when it came to headphones. But Bose has simply outdone themselves with the microphone call quality on the new Bose NC700s. And it makes perfect sense since these headphones are mostly marketed towards working professionals. Now, this is an audio sample of what it would sound like if you were taking a multi-million-dollar phone call on your way to or from work outside with the cars rolling by and the wind in your face. And here's an audio sample if you were to take a phone call in a quiet office or at home. I also quickly want to point out that through Bose's app, you can even adjust how much you hear your own voice while on phone calls. And for comparison, here's an indoors audio sample with the Bose QC35s. It still sounds good, but not as good as the Bose NC700s. But overall, Bose has definitely taken steps to improve the technology and features found on their newest ANC headphones. The active noise cancellation on the NC700s performs overall better than the QC35s because they have less cabin pressure, they do a better job of rejecting wind noise, and it doesn't change how these headphones sound when turned on. The inclusion of an ambient mode has been a long time coming, and for the most part, it works very well. Now, sound quality wise, these headphones aren't going to please everyone, but they have a great neutral sound signature. Now, a 20-hour battery life is a little disappointing on these headphones given their competition, but I'm not really going to hold it against them given their super minimalist design. It's a sacrifice you're going to have to decide to make or not. Now, when it comes to these headphones design, that's all subjective, but personally, I don't like the not so low profile headband, and only being able to fold these headphones flat means the carrying case is going to be a little bigger. But fit-wise, again, these headphones do have those great super spacious ear cups, but I don't think they're as comfortable as the Bose QC35s because of their added clamping force. So, to be on the safe side, I don't think these are big head approved. But overall, the new Bose NC700s are a very decent pair of ANC headphones. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit that like button and get subscribed. It helps out more than you realize. If you want to pick any of the products up mentioned in this video, those will be linked in the description down below, and you can also support the channel by checking out the merch store. But other than that, I'll catch you next time.